Actually, we are waiting for Farshid and Venkat. They will join us in few seconds. Oh, Farsh just joined us.
Okay, hello, sir. How are you today?
Hi, how you doing? Nice seeing you. Or meeting
Yeah,
you.
yep. Thank you, sir, for having here. So I think we are ready to go. So just get ready. So thank you, everyone, for having here. Um, in this community, actually, in our crypto well, and stay tuned if you want to learn more about this project and their plan and program. So today we'll discuss more about everything actually about this project. So stay tuned. So first of all, guys, could you please introduce yourself one by one? Like, how do you connect this project? And then just go ahead first.
Oh, yes, definitely. I just saw that Venkat joined us. Please, Venkat, you can go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Hold on. Yeah. So we are starting.
Yeah, just could
Yes.
you please
Yes.
introduce yourself first? Like, how do you connect this project? Actually, we need to know about yourself, actually. So yeah, just go ahead with this.
Okay. So I'm Venkat Naga. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Serenity Shield. I joined the project more than 2 years ago. And right now, my mission is to drive the way forward, the philosophy, the path going forward, and see how we are able to position ourselves within this Web3 space on a decentralized storage domain. And that's what I essentially do. And I am actually coming from a corporate Web2 background. I've been within the Web2 industry for more than 25 years. And of course, with all my knowledge, I was quite impressed by the immense potential of the Web3 blockchain technology. And that's why I jumped into this Web3 space. And of course, as I said, I've been with Serenity Shield for more than 2 years now, and I drive the path going forward as a CEO of the company.
Hi, I'm Farsh Fala. I have recently joined Serenity Shield. Actually, today is my 3-month anniversary here at the company. The last 10 or 12 years, I've been at Apple, at Unity, and also at Samsung. The last 5.5 years, I've left Samsung to join the company. Much like Venkat, I was very, very impressed by what's happening here in the Web3. I guess at the excuse of aging myself, I was around when Web 1, if you want to call it 1 to Web 2. And I knew at some point Web 3 would come forward. And I'm kind of happy to be here. We have very good technology, core technologies, and this is the right environment for me.
Okay, so I will be the last. Hi, my name is Vandet Hatefi. I am head of business development in Serenity Shield, and I am also very excited to be here with you and share this moment with all your community. And of course, we aim to provide a real solution for the blockchain users and also for the Web2 and Web3 users. So it's what we are talking today, and very excited to talk about it today.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Fandon, and thank Kate and Fresh for having here actually once again. And also, people don't forget to join their community and also listen to this AMA very carefully. Like today, we'll discuss about the Serenity Shield, their planning program, as I mentioned. So, guys, could you please say that is what is Serenity Shield actually, and what the core problem does it aim to solve in the digital asset space?
Venkat, you're muted.
So let me pick this question, and of course, Fash can add more points to it. So, what is Serenity Shield? Serenity Shield, we are a decentralized, blockchain-based data storage application. So, essentially, we are into the business of data storage in a decentralized manner using the blockchain technology. And here, the users can store any form of the digital data. It could be a text, audio, video, doc file, PDF file, etc. So the users could store any form of a digital data with our data storage solution. And we promote privacy, security, data autonomy, and self-ownership of your data in a real sense, right? So that's the primary objective with which the company was formed, and that's what we are advocating using the immense power of the blockchain technology. And we also have an inbuilt inheritance option where the users can also pass the access to the confidential information that they store with us to the designated nominee or a heir using their own inheritance protocol that they can design within our solution. Our product essentially, the storage product, it's a DApp with which the users can connect with their existing DEX wallet, and we are also coming up with more access and entry points. But right now, the users can connect to adapt with their existing compatible DEX wallet. So as I said, we are fundamentally a blockchain decentralized data storage application, and we are into the business of data storage. And I'm sure Fash would want to add some more points to this here.
Yeah, we can definitely add to that. I mean, as our individual products are available now, but we want to go beyond that. Data is fundamental now to most businesses and enterprises that are out there. And we'd like to expand what we're offering for individuals, all the things that Venkat just talked about, and go beyond that and be able to offer it to enterprises and bigger corporations. Almost everybody has data now. I mean, you're all familiar with AWS, Google, Azure, and the fundamental weakness in that is that it's hackable. It's not very secure. That technology is built on Web 2 technology that itself is built on, if you want to call it a web bomb, but a DARPANET, and this is a legacy system. Legacy systems really from the 70s or 80s. And now we have sort of moved on. I think decentralized data storage is probably the future of data storage. Data is massive. We all have it, and this is a very good place to be.
Okay, yeah, got it. So, like, I think people can store their data as digital form, like audio, video, taxes, and everything, and your data will be safe. No worry, guys, they're 100% secure in Meta, definitely. So how does the like, I know actually, like, how does your project ensure that the users can securely store their digital asset without needing to worry about the losing access actually?
Muted.
So losing access is one of the key points which generally the users are worried about, because at the end of the day, if they don't have access to the storage application, then the whole thing falls apart, right? So that's why we are going to implement certain new methods in the upcoming future, in the near future, because one of the issues for mass adoption for a blockchain solution in the industry today is how many of us from the traditional world we even know how to create your own wallet, right? Because when you come into the blockchain industry in itself, without creating or without having a basic wallet, you will not be able to do anything at all. So, and we wanted to break that barrier and move towards mass adoption and mainstream adoption. And that's why we are creating a biometrics technology using a biometrics card. So that means even if you lose access to your storage application from a blockchain way, using your wallet or whatever, you can use the biometrics card, which is an alternate access or an entry point. That's one. And within the blockchain solution itself, right now we have a 2FA authorization, which we in Web3 we call it a 2FA. I'm sure most of your listeners would know about it. So the 2FA authorization can be in the form of an email address or a contact, whatever. So you can enter the 2FA authorization at the time of entering into a product itself. So that means for some reason, if you're losing the private key to get into the product, you can get into the 2FA authorization and enter those details to gain back access into the product. So 2FA authorization is one of the basic alternate methods to gain access so that you are not completely cut off from the product. And in the near future, we are also going to launch a biometrics card, which will also be an alternate entry point in case you get to lose access to your product that is being used with us.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So Fresh and Fana, do you want to add something like how do you secure your project actual? Like how can people assure that they will not lose their data?
I think Fash, I think you can take up this question here.
Yeah, I mean, as Venkat just mentioned, people cannot lose their data because the way we're doing it, right? You're familiar with how blockchain works. Basically, we're taking the data, taking it into many pieces, and storing it among many different nodes. It is pretty much unhackable. The access to it, while currently uses a Web3 or traditional wallet and then the regular accesses, we're bringing a biometric to give you the secondary way of approaching that. That way you cannot lose it. Whether you forget your wallet or you forget your phrases or you lose it somehow, you still have your biometrics. Biometrics cannot be lost, as you know. It is yours and yours alone. And our access will allow that to happen.
Okay, yes, thank you.
I'd like to
Thank
talk
you.
a little
Happy
bit about
to
the
know.
multi-layer encryption we have on that as
Yeah.
well. I mean, without giving away any of our secret sauce, our guys are developing a very good multi-layer encryption. And I can assure you it's very secure.
Yeah, so let me add something over here, Austin, is that as Fash mentioned, the encryptions that we use, of course, we don't want to give away the exact name of the different types of the encryptions that we use, because that is a kind of I would say, is a proprietary kind of a data or information. But in general, for a layman, what I would like to say here for the general listener is that we are using different logic or algorithm of encryption. That's number one. And number two, the way the whole system is designed using encryption and decentralization, even if somebody gets access to something, they are just going to get access only to some part of the whole data, right? This is because that's the whole beauty of doing the decentralization and also adding multiple layers of encryption, because nobody would be able to get the full piece of data in one shot, which is what happens in the centralized storage. And that's why you keep seeing all these kind of serious breaches across the globe, is that it's all stored in one location. Maybe I'm not sure what level of encryption that is being going through in that centralized location of storage services that they offer. So a guy gets to breach that and get in. That means the whole data is lost. Whereas here, you have to cross barriers of multiple layers of encryption. And also, even if you do that, you get to the point of where the data is actually stored. What you can access is just a couple of pieces or one piece of the whole data, and you never get access to the full data in one form or shape, right? So the decentralization method, the decentralization by design, and the multiple layers of encryption, the different algorithms that we use for encryption, it's like, somebody wants to get into a ship. That means he has to use that kind of bulldozers and everything to sort of break up the whole ship, not like you just pass through a small hole and get inside and get access to the whole thing, which is what happens in a centralized storage, right? So that's why decentralized storage with multiple layers of encryption that we deploy, how it's different. It's not about what we do, it's also about how we do it.
Okay, yeah, got it. Thank you once again. So yeah, guys, no worry about the security. So may I know actually, like, who can actually benefit from using the this Serenity Shield? Actually, like, as I'm a general user, may I use your project or may I use your platform? And also, what type of digital asset does it support right now?
Yeah, I can take that one. Actually, anybody, everybody. Literally, as we are sitting here and all of your listeners are sitting there, they all have mobile phones. And these phones are picking up all kinds of data. Some of the stuff you know about, and I know this because I'm ex-Apple and ex-Samsung. I work for mobile division, so I can tell you for sure. And they have sensors that pick up other bits of data. It's almost like Matrix, where there's like little bits of code going up, right? And cloud is not some magical place that it's going to. It's actually somebody's data center. And this is basically sitting right now unsecured. Anybody, every single individual, and as well as corporations need this, and they can access it right now. In fact, for individuals right now, we're offering it. It's available. You can go to our systems and get that. Our S-Box product is out available to all individuals right now. It's free. It's easy to use, and you can pretty much put any kind of digital asset you have. I don't know, pictures, photos, cat photos. If you have cat videos, you can put it there. Documents, tax, banks, any record that is digitized, you can store here securely and know for a fact that nobody's going to get hold of it. Imagine, Austin, you give me a secret, right? You give me a little secret on a piece of paper, and you ask me to keep it secure for you. Now, it's secure if I have it with me, but if somebody gets it from me, then they have your secret. Now, if I take that piece of paper and take it into 100 pieces and put each piece one place and put multiple layers of encryption on it, it's almost impossible to find it. And like Venkat said, even if you get one piece of it, it will not make sense because you have one piece, one of 100 of this piece of paper, and would not be able to make sense of the whole document.
So I may want to add something here, Austin, is that, as Fosh said, this is a solution for everybody, both as a personal user, and I'll try to explain a little bit more about how the businesses and the enterprises can use our solution, right? Because that makes it even more interesting. From a personal user's point of view, it can be used by a lawyer, by a musician, because we can store MP3, MP4 formats. So a musician can store his data, a lawyer, a patent consultant, anybody for that matter, because today everybody has something to store in a confidential and a secured manner, right? So, and everything is digitized nowadays. So we are a solution for a musician, lawyer, patent consultant, NFT holder, and even for whatever you name it, right? Doctor, I mean, you name, because we just got a client who is based in Middle East in Canada. They are going to have one of the biggest applications for health sector, right? So we will be useful for the health sector as well. And I gave a speech in New Delhi in India in line with the G20 summit of how blockchain storage applications, especially products like ours, can be used in the telecom industry in the future, right? So it can be for any form of a personal usage, and also for some serious industries getting into play of decentralized storage, like a telecom industry, health sector industry, and so on and so forth. When it comes to business data storage, and which is what we will be focusing in the near future, in businesses, data storage is just not about storing your data or preserving your data. The main mantra is how do you monetize your data? That's the key thing in business data storage. And that's what we'll be providing, wherein we can store your data management systems and library management systems with indexing and metadata retrieval, where you can not only store your data, but you can also monetize your data, which makes it much more interesting. Because at the end of the day, you go to a business enterprise and you tell them, guys, you have been storing in a Google or wherever you have been storing, you come and store your data in a blockchain. Of course, it's going to be a big decision for him to make, because he will say, I don't know what's happening. I'm happy with what I'm doing. Why do I have to come to blockchain and store it with you? Right? Of course, no matter we tell them it's decentralized, no breaches and all that kind of stuff. But finally, if we have to give him a business sense, what we are going to tell him is you have encryption, you have privacy, security, self-ownership, and on top of that, you also have an ability to monetize your data as good or even better than what you're doing right now. So personal data storage for any form of an industry and business data storage with an option to monetize your data, those are the key main elements of our use case and application.
And as an added bonus, we're actually ecologically sound. I'm sure people have noticed in the news the last couple of months, all the big data storage companies, AWS, Azure, all of them are buying nuclear power plants. Literally, that's how much power they need to actually power their data centers. We're using decentralized nodes. We don't add that much power, actually, power usage to the grid. The power is already being used. This is basically a spare capacity of the nodes that are out there. So I think we're ecologically sound on top of what all these other benefits that Venkat mentioned.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Saf, once again for this amazing answer. So anyone can use their platform, anyone can store your data, no worry. So like let's take another good question. Like how does your Serenity Shield handle asset inheritance or transfer in the event of a user's date actually?
Yeah. So I think I'll take up this question, though, although it's very technical, I'll try to make it as simple as I can for the benefit of all our listeners here. So, as I said in the beginning of the conversation, we have this built-in inheritance protocol where the users can design their own inheritance protocol and say, if 1, 2, 3 steps happen, then you pass the access to my confidential information to my designated nominee or heir. So he can mention those steps. Like just for an example, you send me an email as a user, I don't respond to you in 3 months, then it gets triggered. Like I'm just giving just an example. Like that, you can stipulate your own conditions and design your own inheritance protocol based upon which the access that you want to provide to your designated nominee or heir, it gets triggered. That's just from a very general sense of view. But how do you implement it technically from a blockchain point of view is the location where your confidential data is stored is actually stored in a layer 1 using the smart contract. That's how our solution or technology is patented, because we implement blockchain decentralized solution in a smart contract using the methodology of NFT, which is a patent pending application that we have. Your data is stored in a smart contract. The viewing key to this particular location where your data is stored, that is being sharded or split into 3 NFTs. Basically, let me repeat, the viewing key or the access to your storage location is being sharded or split into 3 NFTs. One of the NFTs stays with the primary user. One of the NFT goes to the designated nominee or heir. And the third NFT remains with the Serenity Shield system. And all these NFTs are encrypted again. For anybody to retrieve the data as a nominee or heir of, you need 2 out of the 3 NFTs to access your data. And one of the 2 NFTs have to be from the Serenity Shield system, so that 2 people cannot connive with each other and do any sort of an abuse of the privacy system that we have. So overall, you can stipulate your own conditions of why and how your inheritance can be triggered. And from a general sense, the viewing key, which is basically, that's the fundamental component of blockchain to access a particular data location, that is being split into 3 NFTs. They are encrypted again, one with the user, one with the heir, and one with the Serenity Shield system. You need 2 out of the 3 NFTs to retrieve or access your data, even though it is going to be done from a designated nominee or heir. So it's a very nice inheritance protocol system, very safe and secured, and you're using the NFT as well. So it's a very well designed, structured, and articulated system where the inheritance goes in a very methodical and a very nice manner. So that clears one of the major entry barriers, because when we started the project, one of the main reasons we found that as an entry barrier, people didn't know, I'm going to store my digital assets in blockchain or whatever you may want to call it. What happens if, God forbid, something happens to me? What happens to my digital assets? That was one of the major concerns for people to come and use these kind of storage solutions. And we are addressing that using a very structured, simple inheritance protocol using the NFTs, which is solving one of the major problems of mass adoption in the blockchain space.
And by the way, that includes your digital currencies as well. I should probably add that in there. Like, right now, if something happens to you, you lose your digital currencies. That will not go on to anybody unless they know all of your wallet accesses and all that. This actually resolves that problem as well.
Okay, yeah, thank you once again. So guys, like, you can get back your data, no worry, after your data and so far. So yeah, thank you once again. And also let's talk about some of your the product verticals. Like, what are the different product verticals of your Serenity Shield?
I think Fash can pick this question.
Yeah, I can talk about some of the different verticals. Obviously, we already talked about the data storage and both enterprise and individual, as we spoke of. And the biometric, we think biometrics is actually very important here. Not only just to access the digital data and all of those things, also to protect digital identity. The things that are happening today with all the hacking and everything that's coming up, the digital identity protection is becoming much more important. We also think we can take that another step further with payment solutions that could be used using that digital biometrics. And yet still that has other benefits. What we'd like to do is actually act as a bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. If you go to your regular average user and tell them, hey, come set up a wallet and have these 3 phrases, and then you have to put this some secure place and come back, usually kind of puts them off. We think our biometric solutions will allow actually those users to come and take advantage of all the Web 3 advantages that we're talking about and still sort of stay a Web 2 user, though they're acting within a Web 3. We think all of these verticals have a place to be. I think they will all kind of match in together, and you can see like a little puzzle. One technology leads to another, and we're offering actually a very highly protected access to all of these technologies. Venkat, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to add, of course, the biometrics solution is something, we are adding up, and that product will be launched in the market, I would say, probably by December of this year. But one of the areas where we are really going to focus is we are already focusing, and it's the work in progress for the last couple of months, is DeepIn, right? Which is decentralized physical infrastructure of storage, where we are creating multiple points of presence, in the first one being in Oman, the next one is going to be in Chennai in India, the third one will be in Amsterdam, it will be in US, Canada, and also in Australia, so that we are covering almost the critical junctions of the globe to be able to provide a DeepIn solution with these points of presence with our own node array system, which are all going to be controlled by a node management system. So the beauty here is, if you see in this space, because I'm going a little bit technical over here, because I think it's very important for the listeners to understand this of how we are making it different, right? So most of the blockchain decentralized storage players in the space today, first, they don't have all under one roof. They don't have a solution to store your private key in a very systematic manner. They don't solve your problem of storing your private key. They only keep postponing the problem. That's number one. Number two is in terms of no matter what they call it decentralized, somewhere in this product process, they have a certain amount of centralization because they again go back to the so-called Google or an Amazon or a cloud server to store some part of their data. So no matter what, they call themselves decentralized, but somewhere in the product process, they are centralized and they are using these so-called centralized servers, which we don't. And that's why we are creating our own server infrastructure. And all our storage users can store or lease our servers and make them as their own servers. And they don't have to go back to the Google or a cloud server again, right? So from that point of view, when we create our own server infrastructure, which can be leased by our users, that makes it very different. And also the most important thing is the node array that we create. Some of them will be our own nodes. Some of them will be the nodes from the external parties. But what is important is the quality, the technical specifications of these nodes. Because nodes, what are essentially nodes? Nodes are the storage providers. When we see our competitors, they have a very easy solution, flexible solution. I don't want to put up some names here, but they are because they are all $1 billion worth of companies. But the storage providers that they provide as a storage marketplace, the quality of that storage providers is not up to the standard. They make it easy, cheap, but when it comes to the question of the storage providers as being a node, the technical specifications that they have is not meeting with the quality of the standards. And that is why you have outages, you have inconsistencies, and you don't have a sustained storage mechanism. So we are providing a server infrastructure which can be used by the user. We are also providing very quality nodes or storage providers with very high technical standards. And we are also going to use our own standards of node management system, which will be completely decentralized in design. It will take care of all the current flaws and the limitations which are in the market, because we have carefully analyzed what are the limitations in such node management system. So I think with all these steps that we are implementing, I'm quite confident that we will emerge as a serious deep-in player in the upcoming future, because we are addressing some of the fundamental points of where things could go wrong in a decentralized storage application because of the server, because of the nodes, because of the node management system. We are addressing all the critical components of that equation to make it sustainable and seamless and also trouble-free. So overall, as Fash said, we have a storage application, which is, that's the fundamental core component. Then we have this biometrics product coming into play, and we also have this deep-in coming into play, which will go into a wide, big market space, because all the businesses can come and store their data into this deep-in with all the extra sophistications which I talked about. So we will be providing the complete infrastructure and ecosystem of what all is required in the space of decentralized storage. So we will be a 360-degree, full-fledged storage application solution. And that's why we have such product verticals. But finally, everything will be integrated. So we become one family or one group of decentralized storage.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Wish you good luck for the future. Actually, keep doing the great things for the people. Yeah, thank you once again. So let's talk about your the token. Okay, like may I know, like holding, if I hold your token for the long term, what kind of benefits I will get, and also where can people buy? Like, could you share everything about your token?
Yeah. So our native token, Austin, is called Surge. That's our native token. It's a utility token. And right now, Surge is listed in 3 centralized exchanges. It's listed in Gate, in an MEXC, in BitGet, and it is also listed in PancakeSwap. So how our token is different, right? I keep saying this in all the AMAs and speeches I do, because I think it's a very important aspect, is our token is very deflationary in nature, which makes it extremely attractive. Why it is deflationary, which I'll try to explain it in very simple terms. When users come and use our storage space or anything that they do, the storage fees or some of the service fees, they all have to be paid using the search, which is our native token, right? So that means a B2B customer is coming and having a storage contract with us. The storage fees have to be paid using the search. Of course, we have an API, they can pay in dollars or whatever. Our API will convert that dollars into search tokens because it will go and buy it from the market. So that means the more customers we get for storage, the more search will be consumed because those search will be needed to pay for the storage fees. That means the demand of search will keep going up, the supply will keep coming down. So automatically you're creating a fundamental utility, because the biggest problem in most of the projects in the Web3 space today is there is no connection between their token and their fundamental business model because there's a disconnect. Whereas here, we have a business model of storage. People have to pay for the storage, which they will have to do in search. So more users you get, more search is consumed from the market, demand goes up, supply keeps going down, which is the fundamental concept of our token being deflationary. That makes it very attractive, right? And number two is we also have a lot of Web3 mechanisms, like we have a staking protocol where users can come and stake their tokens for 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever, so they can participate in our journey so that when the project keeps growing, the token prices keep growing, they also will benefit along with the growth of the project. And that's why we offer different solutions like staking. Last but not the least is the revenue share, which is also making it quite interesting in the sense that we are allocating a certain amount of the tokens into a revenue share pool, and those tokens will be distributed to our product users, token holders, etc., etc. So that means they are going to directly benefit from the growth of the project using this revenue share mechanism, which also makes it even more interesting because when the project grows, they collect more tokens, then they are going to distribute those tokens back to the community using this revenue share model. So revenue share mechanism, staking, deflationary nature, those are some of the very attractive features of our Sage token, which is our utility token, and it is very much linked to a fundamental business model. It's not floating in the air without any use case or application. That's what happens in most of the cases, right? Since it's fundamentally linked to a use case of a storage business, it has all these salient features which makes it extremely attractive.
Okay. Thank you. So, guys, they have the staking opportunities. You can just stake. Don't worry. Just purchase the token if possible. Actually. So, may I know? Do you have any kind of partnership for now, or how do you plan to engage more partners in future?
Fash?
I think I'll talk about that one. Yeah. Well, if you look at my background, for the last 6 years, I was director of strategic partnerships at Samsung Mobile Division in Samsung's North America headquarters in Mountain View. Before that, I ran strategic partnerships for Unity, and before that, I was at Apple in Cupertino. So partnerships is my DNA. It's part of the thing that I do. And, partnerships is one of those things. It's like cooking. You don't serve a meal before it's ready. So we don't want to name any names and stuff, actually. But I'll give you guys some pointers. The next couple of weeks, we'll be making some announcements, some big partnerships that's coming up with us. So that'll be in the next 2 weeks or so. There's obviously some data partnerships that'll be announced over the next few months, and also some payment solutions and payment partnerships. As I mentioned earlier, we would like to have all of this integrated into one product because we think this is what our users will need. It'll make it much easier for the Web3 users to be in the Web2 world and the Web2 users to be in the Web3 world. Like I said, we would like to be the bridge in between those two, and we'll be making some announcements soon. You'll see some big names.
Okay, yeah. Thank you once again, sir. I wish you good luck for the future. And here is another question. So, people, if you have any more question and queries, just get ready. So may I know about, like, I think you already talked about your security and so far. So, is your Synergy Shield compatible with the existing digital wallets or platforms, or does it operate independently?
No, we are EVM compatible. So, and also we focus a lot on what we call it in Web3 as interoperability. So from that point of view, we are EVM compatible. So our solution is compatible with all the networks which come under EVM. And even for our token, we are in the process of building more and more bridges, because right now our token is on BSC. but very soon we'll be building bridges with Base and Solana, etc. So essentially, we are building a lot of token bridges in the near future, but otherwise, fundamentally, we are on BSC and we are EVM compatible.
Okay. Thank you. So here's the last question from mine. Like, what is your future development plan? I think you have a long-term plan for now. So what is your future plan?
I think this is a little bit about the vision, right? So I'll
Mm.
I'll say whatever I wanted to say, and Fash can sort of, he can add his points too. So as I said in the middle of the conversation, the main point about Serenity is that we are one of those unique projects where, as Fash said, we are trying to become a digital bridge or a digital gateway between Web 2 and Web 3, right? This is point number one. So that means you will have to provide all the features of blockchain, but you will have to cook it in a manner that it can be eaten by even the common guys who are coming from a Web 2 or even Web 1, right? So whatever we need to do, we are doing that. And we are creating this whole concept of decentralized storage in a manner which can be used by everybody. And also, the main thing which is making it even more strong and powerful is the deepen, which I talked about, which is a decentralized physical infrastructure, because this is tangible assets, right? Because you are creating points of presence, you're putting your own server infrastructures, you are having your own node array system. This is not something which is floating in the air. This is all physical, tangible, and they become a part of the real world assets. And when you start to tokenize that real world assets, you get into the domain of RWA. So the way I want to drive this whole project is to make it very simple, relatable, understandable, but with a very heavy substance inside. And that's why I keep saying that when we complete doing whatever we are talking about doing right now, of course, right now, it's only like I would say 30%, 40%, 50% completed in whatever different things that we are talking about. But of course, some of them are fully operational. But within the next 6 months to 1 year, when we complete our vision of completing and deploying whatever we are talking about, we will have a solution which will be a very good combination of deepen plus RWA. I'm sure all your listeners would know what is the meaning of deepen, what is RWA. They are going to be the future. Data storage, decentralization, deepen player with the resources to become also a RWA. So the deepen plus RWA is our formula with which we will drive this project. And with this, I'm quite confident we will emerge as one of the key players within this decentralized data storage domain, able to be used both by the Web 2, Web 1, Web 3 users of the global community. And the beauty about it is that we have designed our technology in a way, because technology keeps evolving, it keeps changing, right? Because you design something for today, after 6 months, somebody else will be coming up with something else, right? So then you become outdated, you become irrelevant. So we are trying to design our technology in a way that we can keep adapting, we can keep changing ourselves, and having that practical flexibility to remain relevant and also to remain useful to the global community. So that is what I would like to say as a CEO of how I would want to drive this project with its own vision and roadmap. Fash, if you want to add something.
Yeah, I mean, Venkat did a very good job covering most of that. What I would like to add is that the real world assets that he's talking about, these servers are built to a highest standard possible, which is TIA. For the people that are there that are technical or like data nerds like me, that's one of the highest standards you can have. These point of presence really are giving us an access that nobody else really has. And the locations are chosen carefully because that covers most of the actual web that's out there right now, the Web 2, so we can have that access, the bridge that we talked about between the Web 2 and Web 3. And it's important for us to own that in-house. That is part of our system. And I like the way they have designed this. The system has been designed. It can evolve, and it is evolutionary. As those new technologies come out, whether it's ours or somebody else's, we can actually incorporate that into what we're doing. We're not trying to compete with the likes of Google or AWS or Azure. I actually see them as natural partners. At some point, some of the data they're holding needs to be beyond the security that they have. And I think we would be a great partner to work with them and be able to offer that to all the people out there.
Okay, yep. Thank you. So I think we are enough for now. Like we covered everything. I can suggest people are asking some about their security. So I think we already covered, guys. You can check this Binance Live after this image from the recording part, no worry. And also, so yeah, like do you have guys any closing remarks or any important news that you want to share before wrapping this session?
Austin, we would want your listeners to come and join our social media. We have Twitter, we have Discord, and we have Telegram. So let them feel free to join all our social media channels. And we have an existing product which is already working, which is Strongbox, where users can come and store some of their confidential data in a very secured manner. And we have a 6 months free subscription which is going on right now. Let them feel free to come into our social media channels and also try using our product, because the 6 month subscription will finish soon. So let them get to know us, let them get to know our product and be a part of our journey going forward.
Yeah, play with it. It's free. I think I'll just add something. I want to say thank you to our team. I don't know if any of your listeners are aware. Last week, we won the Startup of the Year from the Board CEO organization, which is a big organization here in Dubai. It is actually patroned by the royal family here, and it was quite an honor and humbling to win the Startup of the Year. Thank you to the team for the hard work.
Okay, yeah. Thank you guys for having here for your time. Wish you good luck for the future. Just keep doing it. Also, guys, don't forget to join their all kind of social like you will get in our people well community. Just take this out, and also you can like I can say you can just put your all kind of data in here. So thank you, Nori. Thank you once again, guys, for having here. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.